So, just how much money did I spend in Germany? Well, I'm not going to tell you, but come back after the titles and find out what I spent it on. Hey everybody, welcome back. Anthony Dodge, Model Train Outsider, the Miracle Outsider, here with video number 2 in this 3-part video. And in this video, I am going to share with you the purchases I made in Germany. Either things I bought or Jean Ricard, when we were in Hamburg, bought together. Now, if you've watched the live streams, you've seen almost all of this. But I want to kind of do an up close and personal, and then some of this stuff, the locomotives specifically, will get their own closer look videos. So let's go over to my bar countertop here, where I've got everything laid out, and give you just a quick look at what we did pick up. Alright, so in a wide angle shot here, this is pretty much all I officially bought in Germany. I had a couple other things, but this is pretty much the main model train stuff I bought. I really can't do this in order, so I'm just going to kind of go through real quick and just show. The first one was the most controversial one. We went to a model train shop in Freiburg, Germany, and they had a 218 on display, and I told them I was looking for a 218. They pulled one down, they looked at it, they showed it to me. I said, that's exactly what I want. I need that one. It's an ESU. I've never had an ESU, and I was willing to give one a try. It was at a good price for ESU, and they pulled, and I said, yeah, I'll buy it. And he says, good, we've got one on the shelf up here. And I mean, it was a weird thing because I posted the picture assuming I just took a quick picture before we were leaving. And my friend Thomas Kessler was like, that's a 220. I said, no, it's a 218. And I argued back and forth with him. He says, I looked at it. And then I looked at the picture myself, and it was a 220. And that's what came home here, is this class 220 locomotive in the, some call it turquoise, but that is really not turquoise. So sea green is another term I hear used for, but cream and sea green. But as you can see, it is a class 220. And I toyed with sending it back. And then I said, and actually it was Joyce said, don't worry about it, just keep it and add it to your collection. I was like, okay. So yeah, it was a 220. I was completely wrong. Although, again, it was a 218 we looked at as a display model, and he said, here's a 218 ESU. But once he typed it up and we got it back and I got the email receipt, yeah, it was the model number for the 220. So either the kid made a mistake or we made a mistake or I got played, I don't know. But as it is, we're just adding it to the fleet. Now, a little later in our wanderings, I think in Salzburg, we found a cool little model train shop, and they actually had the cream and sea green 218, and this one, as you can see, is a 218, and better yet, it is officially a Miracle. I will be doing separate videos where we do a closer look and run these through and show you what they do and don't do and how they work on my layout. Originally I planned on running these on my first live stream back in America, but I want to give myself time to get these loaded in and make sure they're okay before I just try to do it on a live stream. So those are the two main locos. I did have a chance to buy an older Miracle 218 and also an ESU 218 at a shop we saw in Vienna, and I decided not to spend the money since I have a Miracle 218 in red still in reserve. But this was really cool because this is a slightly older model, although it is an MFX Plus, which means it's not that old. It's only within the last 2-3 years. I did not look up what its release here was, but it's relatively new, and this is a relatively new ESU as well. So that's it for the locomotives I bought. I did buy a little bit of cargo. So the first one I actually bought, in fact, the very first thing I bought was this, and it's the first ever products I bought from Mahano. And I may be running this on my live stream because it's just a freight box. But Joyce actually saw this in the window, and there was 3 2-car sets, including a couple of DHL. And she thought the whole set looked cool. And I mean, I easily could have bought the whole 3-car set. But in the end, I decided it was too early in the game. I did have a bit of a budget I didn't want to go over. And I like surprises. But we did turn around and buy the Max Bogle double container set here. We were told that these are kind of light, but this is relatively higher quality Mahano, and I've never owned Mahano. But I can't go wrong because it's freight, so I'm not worried about mechanical or anything else. It's just as it stays on the track, it's fine. Now, at a shop in, I think it was Salzburg, Joyce made a joke about, hey, here's some cars of some beers you've tried. And we made that joke about all these different beers I was trying. And we saw this one, which I had actually had in Freiburg. And then the day before at a restaurant, I had this one, Dinkel Acker. And Joyce said, as a joke, you should just get a train of all the different types of beers you've had in Germany. And so we bought these 2 little bits. But this is Rothaus Brewery Pilz, which is a very good beer. They're Tannenzapfel. And then this is Dinkel Acker. Again, both Märklin. We just saw these at the shop and thought that was funny. And then some of the last purchase I made, we were at a shop in Vienna. So I think that one must have been Salzburg, and this was Vienna, because we went to this toy store in Vienna, or was this one in Salzburg? See, I've already forgotten. No, this was Vienna. But anyhow, yeah, we bought, they had 2 Märklin OBBs, and I've been looking for these cars, and I also knew we would be riding exactly these type of cars from Stuttgart to Salzburg, Austria. So this kind of fit our old rule of we had to have ridden them. And they had 2 Märklin. So I said, I want those. And then we kept looking around the shop, and about 10 minutes later, we found their Roco section. And lo and behold, they had 3 Roco versions. And at this point, I just said, oh, hell, let's get them. And after we got them, we did notice the Rocos are the true 187 scale. If you look at the boxes, they are a little bit shorter, and if you line them up like the one Märklin, you can see the Roco car is definitively longer. So these are one of Roco's premier true 187 scale, and these are the standard Märklin 195 scale. But it's still a nice set, and they may look a little odd running together. I don't know if I will get, because I need to change the wheels out on these, because these are Roco's base, which means they would be 2-rail. And although Roco 2-rail wheels, I can run them, and they tend not to be an issue. Pico, I'll always change out the wheels, but Roco, I don't always have to. So I might see if I can get these in my live stream, which is tomorrow as I'm filming this. All right, now the little stuff. Now these 2 bits, these little Hamburg Sud 40-foot containers, were a gift from Jean Ricard. Many of you may have seen that. Joyce and I spent 3 days in Hamburg with Jean Ricard. We went to Miniature Wonderland and checked out a bunch of train shops. But I saw these after I finished my purchase, where I had bought this Mahano set here, and Jean Ricard said, oh, you like these? Yeah. And he grabbed them off the shelf and went over and paid for them and gave them to me as a gift. And it was just amazing. He also bought me a re-railer And then I bought some people. These are just random people, delivery people, which I thought would be appropriate. People walking their dogs, school kids, and then some other just random modern era dress people for my layout. I also have a postal delivery man in a more formal uniform. And then out of the blue, I just saw this, and I just decided to have it. King Ludwig II of Bavaria, famous for all the palaces he built in Bavaria. But that is a quick look at everything that I bought at the shops. The only things I didn't show yet, I apologize, I skipped right over it, is I bought these two cargos. I bought this in Freiburg as well. I bought this in a shop in Hamburg, and I just, I liked the look of it and the length of it, and I wanted some more tarpaulin wagons, so I picked that one up. And then I felt I also needed more tankers for my other, actually these will both go on the same freight train. This will go on my container car freight train, and this will go on my tanker wagons. And eventually I'll maybe have different freight trains, one with tarpaulin cars, wagons and so forth, and then maybe an all tanker car as I go along. But I really like this. This one just stuck out to me. And again, I only bought one, and it would have been more appropriate to buy two or three of them. But there it is. So that's the last things I bought. And already I did so much, I can't remember where I all bought it at. But obviously the big stars are going to be these two locomotives here. So that is what I picked up over my 4 weeks in Germany. And it's probably not as much as I easily could have, but it is what I did bring home, except for what I'll show you in the next video.